Okay, so we are back with another wonderful podcast slash live episode of Lose the Cape. This is a pretty new adventure for us doing Lose the Cape TV with our live recorded interviews, which live always can result in some unexpected, interesting things. So I want to welcome Sasha Gray, who has become a very good blogging friend of mine over the past few months as we've coordinated on different events together. She's one of the contributors to our Lose the Cape, Never Will I Ever, and Then I Had Kids anthology, and just a wonderful and very funny lady. So thank you, Sasha, for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for that fabulous introduction. We need to write that down so I can have that somewhere. Business card.
Sasha keeps me laughing every day. We're on several Facebook groups together, and it seems like every time I'm down in the dumps, I go and look at something she's posted and just giggle and giggle and giggle. So friends like that are good to have around. And Sasha's a little bit different than most of the people. I can't say normal because I don't think we have a normal interviewee, but Sasha is a grandma raising her grandchild. So I'd love to give you the chance just to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and what life is like for you doing parenting second time around.
Mostly I'm tired, but I think that's really no different than every other parent out there. It is different as at 53 with a 9-year-old, because in addition to that, of course, my father is 85 and he lives in the yard, not staked or anything. He's in like a trailer, and so that those two pieces together, I have the 9-year-old that I am the parent to, and then my father who's 85. Who I am sort of a parent to as well. So this all, my granddaughter is 9, and we've had her since she was 6 months old.
Wow.
And so it has 100%, we're the parents. She does see her birth family occasionally, but there's no question that, we raise her. She's our responsibility and all those things. So second time around, I think I have more patience, but that's kind of a common thread, but really been there, done that kind of happens. I have to think it's different than maybe the second or third child, because typically when you're younger and you have more than one child, they're all kind of in there together. And yes, you see the difference in the second and third child, but you're still dealing with the first. Whereas I'm no longer dealing with the first child. I only have this one. So it's like I've raised two only children, but I have a bit of knowing kind of the direction some things are going to go.
Yeah. Wow. So what would you say that you do differently this time around?
Well, the work schedule is different. Before I was full-time working outside the home, and that changes things. I kind of know the more important things. I think working parents, regardless, I work now, but when you're away from the home, it's a little bit different. And I think when you're younger, you just don't realize sometimes how much they're listening to what you're doing. That was my case. Maybe I didn't take the time. I don't know, but I don't think you realize what an influence you are to them. I didn't. I can only use my own personal experience. I just didn't realize that. And when I see now her mimicking me and saying the same things, and I don't know if it's because I'm older and paying more attention or I've just picked up on that, but that has been pretty much to me a big difference. I'm much more careful about my actions this time around. Not that I'm like, in jail or hanging out with a gang or anything before. It seems different.
Yeah. So how long have you been blogging then, and what started that? When did you decide to start your blog?
I can remember exactly when my cousin was going to do a blog, and this has been many years ago, and I said, what's a blog? How do people, what do you mean you're going to write stuff out there somewhere and somebody's going to find it? How are they going to find it? Where are you going to put it? How's it going to work? So you fast forward 5 or so years, and I was a motivational speaker, and I blogged about that, or I blogged to go along with that. And that was mildly successful. I mean, I didn't do the blogging part very long, but I wanted to write differently. I wanted to write something that didn't necessarily go in that motivational speaker realm. It was humor. And so I started the other one. It was 4 years ago this month, actually. And I've always written, for starters. I've written my whole life and enjoyed it. So this kind of was once everybody kind of see everybody's doing it and everything, and I really wanted to try that as well. And I love making people laugh, and so was my motivation, if you will. It's just somebody writing me and say, "Oh my gosh, you're just like me. I thought I was the only one this happened to," and I laughed all day. I read it to whoever, and they laughed, and so that was kind of that motivation for me.
Cool. Well, I hadn't planned on asking you this question, but now that you mentioned it, I'm really curious. How did you get into motivational speaking, and how does one follow that path?
I stood up and said, I'm going to be a motivational speaker.
What did you motivate people about?
Apparently not enough. But here's what happened. I was in HR for a long, long time, administration, in the corporate America. And one particular company I worked for always sent me, as well as others, to conferences every year. And there were people on stage that were motivational speakers. We all know them. We've all seen them. And they're great. And I'm thinking, I could do that. Honest to goodness. It took only 25 years for me to see the first one and then say, I am going to do this. So it was something I had in my mind literally for 25 years. But, life, that life thing, it just happened. And when I was in the position that I said, I'm going to do this, I reached out first to people that I knew that had events and said, hey, I need to come speak. I won't charge you anything. Isn't that kind of me, since I don't know what I'm doing? And I would go and do my spiel. And then I reached out to other people that wanted conference speakers and, of course, advertised on specific websites, speaker websites. And that's kind of how I did that. Probably very backwards, honestly, but
it worked.
It worked. And a couple of things happened. My mother got really sick. My granddaughter started school, and they're just really particular about that attendance thing at school.
Something about it.
What is that? Or, I could take her with me. My mom could go with me. If I had to go out of town, because there's not a whole lot of speaking engagements right where I live. I live in a very small little town, so I would have to travel some. Mm-hmm. And when my mother got sick, and my husband travels for business, so it just wasn't possible anymore for me to do that. And I was forced to find something else. And I'll tell you this, my Facebook page began 4 years ago as a very slightly sarcastic, because that might be me, very funny kind of page and blog. And it's still, I think, very funny and sometimes sarcastic. But I have seen a change in me and my outlook over those 4 years with the things I've read, the things I've written, the comments I've gotten from the community that are gathered there each day, that has changed me into going, I don't want to say back to motivational speaker, because that's not ever my plan, but to put things out there that motivate people. Mm-hmm. And inspire people and make them feel good about themselves, which to me is what a motivational speaker does. Right. When I would see these other speakers at conferences, one of the things that I didn't particularly like was the unrealistic things they suggested you do when you get back to make your world all better. Mm-hmm. Turn off all your emails and only check once a day. I'm like, for real? Right. That would never work in my world. And so what I always wanted to do was and do things that were possible for the average person to do. So as this page, my Facebook page, has grown, I've seen a shift and a turn into me putting out more products and sharing things and promoting things, so to speak, that are motivational, inspirational, feel-good kind of things, because I think we all need that build-up. Regardless of the station in life, we all need that.
Yeah, that's true. So you moved from, was it kind of like a transition when your granddaughter and mother your granddaughter went to school, mother became ill. Is that the point in time where you decided to try and start selling things online, or was it kind of crossover or not
Well,
related at all?
it so I had kind of had to stop the motivational speaking thing. I was doing direct sales a little bit, but again, husband traveled all the time, child in school, mother sick, and I was kind of having to let those things go. And I had started the other blog and the Facebook page, which was humor and some writing. And, about 10 months in, I thought, oh, I know what I'm missing. I'm missing an income. That would be it. Yes. I still have to pay those bills. So at that point, I said, I need to sell something. I mean, pure and simple. And I picked out something, some cups, and I had a failed festival event that just didn't work at all because it rained. And I said, what am I going to do with these 100 cups? And everybody's going to get one for Christmas for the next 8 years. But what else am I going to do with them? So I said, I'll just throw them up on my Facebook page. At the time, that was 3 years ago, I had maybe 15,000 fans. I don't know. I don't like the word fans. 15,000 people who liked my page. And I sold all 100 cups within a few hours. And I said to myself, this might just work. So that did work, and it kind of took off, and I honestly have never looked back. I've looked sideways many times going, what in the world am I doing? Because I am bad to jump and then look, which is not always a good plan. I mean, for example, I put them up on my Facebook page. I had no idea about postage boxes or any of those things. So the first 10, I just completely lost money on. But you figure that out, and you're scrambled to figure that out. And it's really, in my world, I can overthink something. I can think about something for 25 years. But if I do it, then I'm forced to figure it out real quickly.
Yeah.
And another thing is, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So to combat that, it's okay in my world now if it's not perfect. I want it to be perfect, and I would love for it to be perfect. But sometimes it's okay. The envelope may not work this time, but next time I'll get different ones.
Yeah.
Or I'll find bubble wrap that's, I didn't know, I could get purple bubble wrap much cheaper somewhere else. It's just those kind of things that you're forced to figure out when you've taken that jump.
And where do you order your inventory from now?
All kinds of places. My goal, I have a lot of different products, and all of them are either created by me or designed by me and created by someone else. If I have to have someone else create them, I look for small businesses, mom businesses, local businesses, whatever I can do. So the coins, the tokens that we can talk about in a minute are handmade by a mother-daughter business in Tennessee. The scrubs that I just introduced are made by a working mom, work-at-home mom, happens to also be in Tennessee. I'm not just like exclusive to Tennessee. It's just how that happened. The necklaces, I make all those myself and just order the supplies. The stickers that I just introduced, a local printer prints them for me after I created them. So a local potter makes my coffee mugs. So I've tried very hard to keep it local as much as I possibly can. All my pieces or all my products include shipping because that's a personal thing with me. I hate going to online to order something and then it's $87 shipping afterwards. So that was just a personal thing. Coffee mugs include shipping because that's what I wanted to see. So it's been a learning curve, 100%. I have just last week switched platforms. Everything was on my blog on WordPress, which is not an e-commerce site. It is a blogging site.
Right.
So last week I bit the bullet and got an e-commerce site, and it's amazing what a difference that makes when you're using the right tools. And it's been much easier. Of course, it has a different name, and I have to figure out if I want to switch everything to that name, and I'm really thinking hard toward doing that.
Yeah. What platform are you using, if you don't mind me asking?
It's Wix, Wix.com.
Okay.
Actually, I use PayPal for my store, my cart or whatever, and I talked to them first to see which platform they supported because I wanted to stay with them, and because that made sense to me. I had that thought process. And that was one of the ones they suggested. And it has been very simple. I still create the item or product in PayPal, And then because it's all linked magically, it magically works. Whereas with the other one, I had to do the code, and that's way over my pay grade. The word code puts me over the edge, you know. I don't know code. You want me to do what to where? You know. So this has been a good thing. And I had some help. I have a friend who knows much more about that than I did. But I was able to get it started, look at it, figure it out, and I can now add products. It would have taken me much longer, and she was just able to do it much quicker.
Well, that's always good to have friends who can do that kind of stuff for you. I think one of the most interesting things about you, Sasha, is how fast and furiously you've been able to grow your support on your Facebook page. And one of the reasons that I think this is so important to talk about is because we do have a lot of moms who listen who are bloggers, and Facebook always comes up in topics like, do you have to pay to boost your post? Do you have to do this? Do you have to do that? Do you have to run expensive ads and all these kinds of things? And people like genuinely are interested in trying to figure out how to do it. And you have just been a great example. And I'm not going to have you go all the way into describing everything that you've done, because Sasha and I recorded an interview earlier, and I have all of that information, and I'll post that in the show notes if people want to catch that that interview. But I just, for anyone who might be starting off and just like starting with their first couple hundred, do you have any tips or advice to get them quickly adding people to their Facebook page?
Well, you know exactly what I'm going to say, Alexa.
I do. Should I say it for you?
The number one tip for any page, I don't care if you are selling dog slippers or Corvettes, you need to post shareable content. And here's what happens. I'll give you a quick little rundown. Average person on their regular personal profile, okay? They're on their phone, first of all, right? 84% of my fans, and my fans tend to be older, are on their mobile devices. So if you think about when you're looking at your personal profile, you're doing it maybe first thing in the morning, maybe on break, maybe at the stoplight, maybe at lunch, maybe right when you're cooking dinner or something like that. You have a very limited amount of time. So you're scrolling through there. And the average person, and this was stats from, I think, last year I heard from Facebook, the average person has about 250 things on their newsfeed each day. There's no way, I think it's more than that, of course, now. There's no way you can see all that stuff.
Right.
So you're scrolling through there, and then you put it down. And the next time you pick it up, you scroll through a little bit more. You have literally sometimes just minutes to catch their attention. So that's the number one thing is all the time when people ask me about this, they say, oh, I posted Tuesday and nobody responded. That's because Tuesdays, it's gone. So two things really. Post shareable content, something that is eye-catching, something that has minimal words. If you have a pretty picture, make sure that it's not anyone's grandmother. I got called up on that one time. It wasn't her grandmother, but she thought it was. Make sure it's something, I'm like, I swear it's not. So make sure you own the rights to it, or you have free rights to a picture. Make the font easily read. There's all those things because they're scrolling through there, and something that catches their attention is what they will click on and share. And then, of course, that's where it explodes because those people see it and those people see it. If it's good enough, everybody will see it and share it. The other thing is to post often. You can't post too much. And that came out of the words of a Facebook person. I was at a conference and they said you cannot post too much. You can actually post too much because if you post more than every 10 minutes, they'll say it's spam. So I typically post about 1 hour breaks between mine. So if I were to say what you should do, first of all, regardless of what you're selling, regardless of what you're doing, find something that makes someone have an emotion. I wouldn't go with the sad emotion. You, of course, can do what you like, but I'm just saying, I wouldn't go with that one. I would go with something that makes them laugh, something that makes them smile, something that resonates with them and says, oh, yeah, that's just like me, and post it, and they will share that. And you say, well, I'm a blogger, and I write about, mommies and daycares. How can I post something funny? You can. Trust me, life is funny. Find it. Create your own is what I would do. Don't. Of course, you can find all kinds of stuff from Pinterest. I would suggest creating your own because somebody created that other one, and they're going to come to you one day and say, hey, you stole my stuff. So create your own. It can be a plain background. There's so many great web apps now that you can create your own literally in minutes.
Yeah, I agree. That's great. Well, and then I did want to let you have an opportunity to talk about how you are planning on interacting with all of your crazed fans.
You know, for a year or so at least, I've been, first of all, I have a really engaged community on my Facebook page, and it is amazing to me. And they know me, and they know my family, not like literally, but they know about us. I talk about us. And so they frequently were like, oh, we need to have a party. We need to get together. Where are you going to be? And all these things. And I'm like, But I said, I can do this. We can make this happen. So I am making that happen. And again, this is the first one. And as with everything else in my world, it started one place and I said, oh, I should do this. And so it's kind of convoluted at this moment. But I'm doing a Giggle and Snort Tour because that's the name I just had. I had said eat, meet, drink, and eat, which was really long. And somebody else, one of the people on my page, said, oh, it should be the Giggle and Snort Tour. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's really good. I'll use that. So we are meeting in Hickory, which is near where I live, July 15th, 16th, and 17th. On Friday night, there's a paint night, includes dinner. And then Saturday, we're going to do the meet and greet, eat and drink. That's really where it all started. And there will be door prizes and goodie bags. And my shop will be set up there and a photo booth. And then Sunday we'll have breakfast. And the people who aren't part of the page, and I try to explain this to them, and they go, well, what are they going to do there? I said, nah, I don't know. We're just going to talk and eat. And what else? Are you going to speak or something? I'm going to speak to everybody. That's my plan. Because if they know me as a motivational speaker, they think I'm going to go on stage and I'm going to have this.
Right.
Nope. Just going to meet and greet and have there's going to be 100 women there. 3 hours won't be enough to talk to everybody, So that's kind of what it is as right now. And as I think forward to the next ones, because a tour would indicate there's more than one. So far, there's only one. I might incorporate a speaking engagement for me in that motivational line, the funny line, the humor line. And my brain just exploded with options, and I want to take it on the road, and I want to do it all inclusive, and so they don't have to worry about doing Friday night and Saturday night in a hotel and all this.
Right.
There's a lot going on in my very old, tired brain that I want to make changes for next year's tour, and really want to take it on the road. So I need sponsors. For all those people out there, I need some sponsors.
Oh my goodness. Well, you mentioned something about stickers. So let's see these new stickers.
Well, let me tell you a story real quick. Nothing I ever do is quick, so I'll try to make it quick. Last Friday, I dropped my girl off at summer day camp. Oh, thank you, baby Jesus, for summer day camp. And I went to McDonald's to the drive-thru. And I got up to the second window, and typically, you get to the window and they throw out your food and they may say thank you and grunt at you as you drive off. So as I got to the second window, a lady opened the window, and she was young, maybe 18, 20, I don't know. The first words out of her mouth were, "You look wonderful."
Oh,
now
nice.
I have to tell you, I was so taken aback, which is a shame, but I was so taken aback by that, I was speechless. And if you know me, you know that was pretty major. So I just couldn't get over it. She proceeded, she confirmed my order, she gave me my food. Thanks, have a wonderful day. I was so impacted by that contact. The next day I talked about it on my live video in the morning. And then that was Saturday. And then that afternoon I created a graphic that said, "You look wonderful." And I wanted everybody to share it and, tell people they look wonderful. I kept talking about it. I talked about it Monday. And then I said, go and say to someone, "You look wonderful." And I was out, just running around like you do. And I found it difficult personally to just walk up to total strangers and say, "You look wonderful." Or even, people who are standing at the cash register saying that too. So I thought other people may have that same struggle to say it to total strangers. Because let me back up 1 second. If someone says, "I love that top you have on," our first response, 99.99% of the time, is, "Oh, this old thing? Oh, I got it at Goodwill. Oh, I've had it forever." Whatever. We give excuses. Mm-hmm. But when someone says, "You look wonderful," that has a whole different effect on you. Mm-hmm. It is amazing. It is empowering, and I was blown away. So Monday night, I realized that it may be kind of tough for people just to go up and tell total strangers, you look wonderful. So I created some stickers. I hovered over my printer's shoulder yesterday and said, hurry, print. I need you to print these. And he was amazing. And he did that. And so last night before the live video, Tip Your Glass Tuesday, I had them on the website and I have them available. They are, can I show them now?
Yep.
Okay, so let's see if we can see them. Here we go. I'll get them closer. Is that good?
Oh, those are
You
pretty.
look wonderful. And it's got the hashtag, you look wonderful, because I wanted to start a movement, if you will. They are $4 for 8 of them. You can hand them out. And I have 2 sets, actually. The other says keep being fabulous, because that's one of my key phrases is keep being fabulous.
Love it.
It's on my website, which is scatteredsasha.com. And I took a sheet with me when we went out yesterday and cut some up and just handed them to people. And, you know, the reaction it's amazing. The reaction is just amazing. They're just like, oh, thank you so much. You do too. And you don't give them to get that.
Right.
But it makes you feel good to see that reaction on their face when you hand them something that says you look wonderful or keep being fabulous.
Yeah.
It's just been phenomenal.
That's so cool. I love it. It's like the whole idea of changing the world with a smile. You know, just smiling at people. Smile at a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I would like to know what your favorite thing to do to get me time is.
You mean other than drink margaritas?
Other than drinking margaritas, that's right.
You know, I am working all the time, as you know, and honestly, me time is vegging on the couch with Netflix and doing nothing. That is my favorite. I'm not an outdoors person, so I'm not going to go hiking. Maybe ride in the car somewhere, but maybe I'm a little lazy. I like to just, if I have the opportunity, I will veg out in the chair, feet up, Netflix is on, and the house is cold and dark. And I'm like, okay, I'm in my Zen mode here. I'm not going to move for at least an hour. And that is unfortunately too rare. And that is if I'm overwhelmed and have way too many things going on, I'll say, I need an hour of NCIS. Thank you very much. So, you know, I don't have to even concentrate on that because, you know, I've seen them all. And exactly. I can just kind of zone out a little bit. So that's mine.
That's fine. I enjoy that too. I enjoy just being able to turn it off, watch somebody else's drama. That's not real. That's not going to impact my life.
That's right.
Oh, that's so much fun. Before we go, I would like you to tell everybody your Facebook page, and you just told us about scatteredsasha.com. Mm-hmm. Is there any place else you want people to find you?
Absolutely. I'm on Facebook as Lipstick, Margaritas, and Hairspray. I post from 7 a.m. till about 9 p.m. each day, about an hour apart. I have live video every morning around 8-ish, bedhead and all. Mm-hmm. Every Tuesday night, there's a live video, Tip Your Glass Tuesday, on my Facebook page, and that's a lot of fun. It's about an hour of just chatting. It's a funny sidebar. A lot of people say, oh, I saw your show, and so I'm like, oh, okay, I have a show. That's kind of cool.
That's kind of awesome.
Kind of cool.
What do you talk about? I have to know. Like, how do you keep it going for an hour?
It's not hard at all. First of all, of course, you can see the comments on Facebook Live, and I will make notes if there's something I want to make sure I mention. Mm-hmm. But, you know, first thing I did was talk about the wine I was drinking and ask them what they were drinking. There's probably 800 or so comments that roll in. And sometimes, and just so you know, when you're doing Facebook Live, you see on my screen, I see about 3 before they roll up to the next one. So if someone says something or asks me something, I'm like, oh, I hope I remember that. And I'll say that. Wait, come back and ask me again because I can't answer that while I'm talking about this. I will make notes if I want to tell a story about something specific. I talked a lot about the stickers last night and the reason I did them. We talked about wine. I talk about my family. We got on a Mark Herman kick about NCIS, and there was like 100 comments of who they liked, you know. And so it's just a conversation on a comment. I'll answer questions. Sometimes I'll open it up to questions, and they'll ask me about. We call Tater online. And I don't tell that story publicly. And I tell them that. I say, that's not my story to tell. That's her story to tell when she's ready. I don't, it's a very personal issue. Of course it is.
Yeah.
So, and they are always respectful of that. I have a really good community there. So the hour goes by quickly. A lot of funny stories. Life is funny, and it's also sucky, but I try very hard to find the humor in that suckiness and talk about it. And a lot of times people will say, oh yeah, me too, that kind of thing. I have the blog at lipstickmargaritasandhairspray.com. That is also where they can find tickets to the Giggle and Snort Tour if they're interested, there at lipstickmargaritasandhairspray.com. But the new e-commerce site is
scatteredsasha.com. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me again today. You've been spending a lot of time with me lately.
It's great.
It is great. And we'll talk with you again soon, I'm sure.
Okay. Sounds great. Thanks. Bye.